Hello there my friends, my name is Riskafish and today I'm here with another video on Warhammer 3. We already know that there are 6 confirmed starting races for Warhammer 3, being Grand Cathay, Kislev and the forces of Nurgle, Slannesh, Tzeentch and Khorne. Since there are 9 lords in total, it is therefore likely that each Chaos God will get one champion to lead them, and I believe that Khorne's representative will be U'Zhul the Skulltaker. Let me explain why. The first thing to point out is the pieces on the map shown at the end of the Warhammer 3 trailer. All of these represent specific lords and specific races. The blue piece to the left, for example, has exactly the same design as Katarina's crown, and also has a blue coloration, which is the colour of their ice magic in the trailer. This location is also in the path to the East Province, which is accessible from the Kislevite wheatlands in the north of the Darklands. This brings us on to the red piece to the right. The first thing we can establish is that it is red, which is a colour associated with Khorne, who is also the main antagonist in the trailer and the most powerful of the Chaos Gods. The next thing we can establish, and this is where it gets interesting, is that the piece has an oblong head, which is associated with a blood letter. It also has 2 horns and, if you look closely, 2 tusks. This matches U'Zhul the Skulltaker perfectly, who despite being a demon prince takes the form of, you guessed it, a blood letter with a oblong head, 2 horns and 2 tusks. The next piece of evidence is the units shown in the trailer, and there are 3. The first is Skull Crushers, the second is Blood Letters, and the third is a Bloodthirster. I have already explained that U'Zhul takes the form of a blood letter, which is also visually apparent with his model. However, he also has a connection to Juggernauts because U'Zhul the Skulltaker has a personal Juggernaut mount option known as Kul Turan. In regards to Bloodthirsters, U'Zhul was known as Verkus in his mortal life, and after losing a duel to a Tong chieftain, he had his life saved by an imprisoned Bloodthirster who gave him near impenetrable chaos armour, monstrous strength and a sword as black as midnight. Simply put, Bloodthirsters are the reason he became the demon known as Skulltaker in the first place. There is another clue, however. On the map you can see that Katarina's piece is at the end of the path to the East Province, a road that goes through the mountains of Morn to the north, and while I couldn't make out the province that Skulltaker starts in, the province between the 2 lords and the site of the battle in the trailer is without a doubt the Road of Skulls, which is part of the Silk Road that Rico and Robio, 2 Tillian merchants, travelled across on their way to Grand Cathay. Road of Skulls, Skulltaker, even has a magic item, you guessed it, called the Cloak of Skulls. It all thematically fits together around the theme of skulls. It is also worth pointing out that U'Zhul is specifically mentioned to have been active in the mountains of Morn by his slaughter of the Marachua ogres, and the mention that he has challenged many fighters from the ogre feast halls. While ogres are active in other areas as mercenaries, the only area they have really settled in is the mountains of Morn. He is also mentioned that he's destroyed a city called Po, and while I couldn't find the location of this, it does sound very Cathayan in origin, implying that he also has a connection to another of Warhammer 3's starting races. His piece is also located very close to the lands of Grand Cathay, being pretty much adjacent to the Great Bastion. The final thing to confirm, in my eyes, is the other 8th edition legendary lords, which are Skarbrand and Karanak. Skarbrand in the lore has been exiled by Khorne, so it would not make sense for an exile to be the faction leader of the Demons of Chaos personally serving Khorne, especially when U'Zhul is specifically mentioned to be Khorne's champion. Karanak, on the other hand, is more of a beast than a commander, so I don't think he would be seen as a faction leader either. This sadly brings us to the end of the video. If you've enjoyed it or have a different opinion, why not let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time.